Hi students, good evening. Today we are going to discuss about how the interesting talk given by Mr. Obama, the ex-president of USA, who was giving this wonderful speech in Canada during the year of 2016. And I strongly believe that this grammatical analyzation, which would give a different perspective views to the students who have been learning grammar, and generally it might be giving different guidelines to the people who are planning about how the effective seminar or how the effective public speech can be given. So today we are going to identify all this information in a grammatical way. Probably I'm strongly guessing that you might be knowing some kind of basic grammatical aspects, and my analyzation which would give different perspectives for the students who have a strong fundamental about grammar. Okay, the meeting started with the proper greetings. Good evening, bonjour, Mr. Prime Minister, Mr. Speaker, Member of the House, Member of the Senate, distinguished guest. So here the noun which is being prized, the guest, distinguished guest. People of Canada, thank you for this extraordinary welcome. Here the noun phrase welcome is being supported by the adjective term extraordinary, which tempts me to just shut up and leave. Here you can look at the adjective clause. Clause in the sense it should have a subject and verb and might have complete sense. Okay, especially adjective which is focusing on nouns. Here we are focusing on the method of welcoming. So extraordinary welcome, which tempts me to just shut up and leave. Obviously, I'm grateful for the warm welcome. So he was formally conveying his gratitude to the public. And when you're talking about grateful for the warm welcome, so when you want to use any kind of noun clause which can be used as an object of prepositionalness. So here you can say that prepositional phrase, I'm grateful for the warm welcome. The warm welcome here you can identify as a noun phrase. So I'm grateful for something. Here you can look at the words. As I understand it, one of the reasons the Queen chose the site for Parliament was that it was a safe distance from America's border. Okay, here you can easily identify the noun clause comes as a subject complementary. Okay, subject complementary in the sense the subject how it is related with the clauses. Just you can look at the things. Here I have underlined the word also. The Queen chose this site for Parliament was that it was safe distance from America's border. And I admit in the war of 1812, American troops did some damage to Toronto. So I admit. Here again we can identify the transitive verb admit in the war of 1812 is a prepositional phrase. Prepositional phrase either it can focus on adjective phrase or else adverbial phrase. American troops did some damage to Toronto. Admit, and finally it was ended with noun clause. And here you can add one more view also. I suspect that there were some people up here. Here they started with a noun clause. I suspect. What do you suspect? I suspect that there were some people up here who didn't mind, which is focusing on the people. It's about noun, so that it can be called as adjective clause. When the British returned the favor and burned down the White House. When the British, here it indicates time, so it is called as adverbial clause as it has subject and verb. So look at this slides, it clearly indicates, however, the only forces crossing our borders are the armies of tourists and business people and families who are shopping and doing business and visiting loved ones. So here again we are talking about adjective clauses. So adjective clauses generally focusing on the noun. So here what the noun which are identified. Here they are mentioning different kind of forces, especially the business people and families. Here he clearly mentioned that these are all the noun terms who are shopping and doing business and visiting loved ones. Okay, so adjective clauses, as I told you, that it is highly focusing on noun clause because noun information. So here the tourists and business people and families are the noun. What they do do shopping and doing businesses. Our only battle take place inside the hockey rink. It's a very simple sentence which may have only one verb, simple verb. Even there is an uneasy peace that is maintained. So again you can understand here adjective clauses. There is an uneasy peace. Peace here it mentions noun. The class which is focusing on noun, since it is called as adjective clauses. As Americans, we too celebrate the life of Mr. Hockey himself, the late great Gordie Howe, just as Canadians can salute American team for winning more Stanley Cups in the NHL. It's a simple sentences. So look at this slide, which is quite interesting. The first one, but I think it's fair to say that much of this greeting is simply a reflection of the extraordinary alliance and the deep friendship between Canadians and Americans. Here again it indicates that noun clause which is being used as a subject complement. Here you can make up the question, so what I think is something. What I think is something, it has been expanded broadly as noun clauses. So think, as we all know, that it's a transitive verb, but I think what is something, I think it's fair to say that much of this greeting is. So I think it's fair to say that much of the things is greetings is a subject, okay, and since it is used to be form, is simply a reflection of the extraordinary alliance and deep friendship between Canadian and Americans. Here noun clause is used and it shows that subject complement. So normally noun clauses which is being used as a subject and the object of the transitive verb, object of prepositional phrase and the subject complement and adjective complement too. And again you can look at the word. I hope that your leadership has brought to your nation as well as to the alliance. I hope, here hope is a transitive verb, and again normally the object of the transitive verb is going to be the noun clause. So noun clause, as you know, that the sentence which has subject and verb and gives complete sense. So your leadership has brought, here as I told you, subject is your leadership has brought to your nation as well as to the alliance. Okay. So as I told you earlier, noun clauses, whenever you are planning to use noun clauses, you can think of either it can be subject of the sentence or object of the transitive verb, or some prepositional object, or subject complementary or adjective complementary. Don't forget these rules, which is quite important. So whenever you are identifying any noun clauses, you can remember always. So here look at this sentence. So Canada was the very first country that I visited as president. Okay, it's a very simple sentence. Okay, Canada was the very first country that I visited. Here you can look at that adjective phrases. Because is talking about the country. Here, as I told you, that adjective clause. Whenever you want to use adjective clause is nothing but we are mentioning about the nouns. A man who is wearing blue color is my friend. So here is I'm giving one more additional example for adjective clauses. So adjective clause is nothing but. Look at this slide, which gives clear information. I told you I should have stopped after the applause. So what did I tell you? So here, whenever you want to confirm whether which clause is this, you can make the questions. If you make the questions which starts with what, then automatically it is going to be noun clause. So I told you I should have stopped after the applause. Okay, so here as I told you, object of the transitive verb. But in a world where too many borders are a source of conflict, our two countries are joined by the longest border of peace on earth. Just its connected words. And what makes our relationship so unique is not just proximity. Again, it's a subject complementary. So you can identify the differences actually. This, okay. And final sentences, just you can look at that. Justin, that says no matter who we are, where we come from, what our lost names are, what faith we practice. Here we can make our lives what we will. He has used different types of clauses. Who we are, adjective clauses. Where we come from, adverbial clauses. It's talking about place. What our lost names are. Again, they are focusing on that noun clauses. What faith we practice, noun clauses. Here we can make our lives what we will, noun clauses. So as you know that we are all using different kind of embedded classes which has many classes. So here you can look at adjective clauses. It was a grit of pioneers and prospectors who pushed west across a forbidden frontier. So here, how do we say that it's about adjective clauses? Because he is talking about the prospectors and the pioneers, grit. Okay, so they are all, because whenever you can identify that the prospectors and pioneers who pushed west across a forbidden frontier, is talking about some kind of noun information. So it is called as adjective clauses. So who has done it? Probably you can understand the exact information, which one has driven you. So when you make this kind of questions, you can easily identify that what kind of classes are going to be. The hope of runaway slaves who went north on an underground railroad. Again, you can look at the subjective classes because it's talking about the slaves. Okay, here again the sentence is focusing on nouns. So if the sentence is focusing on noun, automatically you can make out that it's a class of adjective. So whenever you are using the adjective classes, either it can be demonstrating as subject or else as an object also. Because I can give a few examples at the last sessions so that you can understand that how adjective classes are effectively used. So here this slide gives more information about adjective classes. Just to look at the word, we are bound as well as by the service of those who have defended us. So the people here, some of the people who have done some kind of services which are giving some guidance. So it's about adjective classes because here they are mentioning about the people's service. Again, it's giving the information about noun. So generally adjective, the role of adjective is giving the information about a noun. You can look at the red color words. Their sacrifice is reflected in the silent rows of Arlington and in the piece of tower above us. Their sacrifice is reflected in the silent rows. So here you can look at this kind of prepositional phrases. Prepositional phrases, as I told you, it can focus on either adjective or adverbial areas. Okay. And today we honor those who gave their lives for all of us. So again we are talking about adjective classes. We honor those. So some of the people who lived and contributed their life for us. So again, as I told you, it gives extra information about the noun. So it is called as adjective clauses. So you can make up the questions that who has lived for us or who has given their life for us. So there will be some people who have contributed their life. So automatically when you are making the questions, it will give a clear idea for you to understand which class is used for the particular sentence. And we are linked together as well as by the institutions. And you can look at this one, United Nations to advance. The United Nations to advance here, the infinitive. What does mean by infinitive? Infinitive starts with the to plus verb. And this infinitive can act as a noun, adjective as well as adverb also. United Nations to advance. Here United Nations is a noun, so the infinitive does the role of adjective. United Nations to advance our collective aspirations. So we can identify that infinitive, which can be used as a subject of the sentence, as an object of the sentence, and it can reflect as adjective and as well as adverbial also. So you can understand exactly how the infinitive is being used in each sentences also. So it's quite interesting when you're talking about infinitive actually. Here you can look at the last sentence, nor are where Americans and Canadians stand watch side by side. So nor are where Americans and Canadians, here it mentions about the places. So whenever it mentions about the places, it's about adverbial clauses. Okay, so I hope this session is quite interesting. So guys, the first part is completed, but overall we can recall how the classes are being used in your speech. So there can be three types of classes which are effectively used: adjective classes, noun classes, and adverbial classes. So first let's know about noun classes. Noun classes can be used either as a subject of the sentence. What I have done is being remembered. And the object of the sentence, I expect some of them would do the work. And as a prepositional object, it depends on how you are doing the work. And subject complement, what I have accomplished is what I think on always. And adjective complementary, he has done something remarkable. He has done something remarkable. He is always remembering by the people who are the real followers. Okay, so here I have given a few more examples of how the noun classes are used. And talking about adjective classes, as I told you, adjective means it gives extra information about the nouns. The man who has done this job is being remembered. So here we are talking about the man, and which man? There will be many people. Okay. So whenever you are talking about any focused person, you are using adjective classes. So generally talking about the classes means the classes, it should have a subject and verb, and it should give the complete senses. And probably you may be asking the questions whether we can use all the clauses in a single sentence. Yes, but you should give the right sense always. And talking about adverbial clauses of time, adverbial clauses of place, conditions, contrast, result, comparison, degrees of comparison, because we are using different types of adverbial clauses are used. I went there when all people are expecting my arrival. So here I'm explaining about the timing. So timing based adverbial clauses. Okay. And I went the place where all people are crowded. Here I'm talking about the places. So place again it comes under adverbial clauses. And if it's a conditions, if you go there you can meet the people. Okay. Because the reasons he has gone, as he has gone there he would have completed the work. So we are giving the reasons. So when you are talking about adverbial clauses, it may play a vital role. Okay. So I can say a few more examples. I should have disclosed to the people about what he has done. Here you can understand which class is being used, because I wanted to conduct a different kind of quizzes, and what I have done is being remembered when all people expected this kind of actions to be completed as it is highly needed. So this sentence it gives clear example that I have used all classes. So just you remember easily adjective which is giving extra information about a noun, and noun classes, as I told you, it's a kind of actions. How we are using noun classes. My implementation is remembered. What I implemented is being remembered. So what I implemented is the subject of the sentence. So noun clauses, either it should come as a subject of the subject of in each sentence, as object of transitive verb and object of preposition, and subject complementary and adjective complementary. Please remember this rule always whenever you want to use noun clause in an effective manner. And talking about adjective, as I told you, it gives clear information about nouns. Okay, because whenever you want to give any information about noun, you can use noun. That adjective clauses. The person who has sacrificed many things for the country is always remembered. So you can think that whenever you are using about any kind of sentences, you need to identify that what it indicates. And how do we identify the clauses? By raising the questions. So when you are raising the questions, especially if you are raising the questions by what, it could be noun clauses, and which, whose, it gives adjective clauses, why, and why, when, because when means it's about timing, why means it gives reasons, and though, because as I told you, it's all contrasting information also based on adverbial clauses, and at what level, at what degree this action has been done. So if you are asking this kind of questions, you can easily make out this classes is going to be adverbial clauses. Thank you very much.